এই হচ্ছে AGT Live 24/7.
This is AGT Live 24/7.
Hello there, welcome to our special edition of News Bulletin, The World This Week. US presidential election may remain a cause of hypothesis as speculated by the critics of Joe Biden, who is trying to reassure donors after his performance during the first presidential debate with the presumptive Republican nominee. Donald Trump rattled Democrats and caused serious doubts about his re-election prospects. The president has been attending fundraisers in an effort to acknowledge concerns, but also promised that he is not abandoning his campaign to command the White House for the next 4 years. Biden and his wife Jill earlier attended a campaign even in the affluent neighborhood of East Hampton in New York to get more funding. Based on public reports, the event, which was closed to the news media, took place at the home of Abram Glazer, an owner of the Tampa Bay Buccaneers and football team. The couple then went to a second event in East Hampton at the home investor and Barry Rosenstein, whose wife Lizanne heaved praise on the president and defended his 4-year record compared to that of Trump. The Biden focused on directing attention towards Trump, heavily criticizing his presidential record and saying his performance was also poor during the debate on Thursday night. The Biden campaign said it had raised more than $27 million on Thursday and Friday, including $3 million at a New York City fundraisers focused on the LGBTQ community. In this context, the eminent Indian journalist Sekhardatta has turned down several hypothetical presumptions, he said.
So far as I know, and going by what I am reading in newspapers and viewing in TV channels and websites, it seems to me that Donald Trump is all set to stage a comeback. Firstly, because Joe Biden is advanced in age and he is certainly having some health issues. In fact, it is reported that he has been ailing from dementia and other ailments. Trump is highlighting this, and though he himself is already 75, he is a septuagenarian also. He is trying to influence voters with the argument that he is fitter and he is more capable. Firstly, he is trying to drive home this point in his political discourses so that he can influence the voters. And to my mind, he may achieve a degree of success also in this regard. And regarding the issues you have asked me, immigration is a very sensitive issue in the USA because there are thousands of asylum seekers, refugees, etc., who want rehabilitation in the USA. But how many such people can US take and rehabilitate? It's a moot question. Especially from the Middle East, which is trouble-ridden already, very much trouble-ridden, from African countries where there is acute poverty, unemployment, price rise, etc. USA certainly cannot accommodate all these people, and the original inhabitants of USA are quite sensitive to this problem, because ceaseless immigration can change the demographic profile of the US, which has long been established and which is deeply entrenched. So the original inhabitants of US fear being swamped by cultural aliens, by colored people, and by these poor and exploited people who want asylum there. Moreover, this also means a much bigger burden on US economy, because the US government will have to spend a lot to rehabilitate these people, to provide them with basic amenities of life in the USA. So it is both a big problem, and if Donald Trump raises this point of immigration, he may be successful to sway the minds of original US citizens and voters. So in that way, he will be more successful than Biden, because Biden's policy, in fact, it is the policy of Democratic Party to which Biden belongs. Their policy on immigration has been more liberal than that of Republicans. So, but the sensitivity and fear psychosis in the minds of US people are still there. So, they may be influenced to a great extent by what Trump has been highlighting on the issue of immigration, etc. And there are also other things like the war in Ukraine, the Russia-Ukraine conflict, growth of China, emergence of China as a big power and competitor with the USA. All these issues will influence the voters, and Trump has been trying to convince the voters that he will restore the old glory of USA. Old means the status and power which USA had achieved after the collapse of socialist regimes in East Europe, Russia, and some other countries. So, this point may be able to convince the US voters, and in this sphere also, Trump, I think, has a lot to gain, and he is in a more advantageous position than Biden, because traditionally Democratic Party follows a more liberal policy, and Biden is a part of this because he is also a Democrat. So, we can hope a keen contest in the US election this time, and those who have settled in USA from outside, say India, Pakistan, Bangladesh or African countries, they may not support Trump's slogans and Trump's points of view. They may side with Biden, but the original US citizens who still have the majority, decisive majority, they, I think, will be interested in seeing Trump back to White House. So, let us wait and watch. We can only wait and watch.
Is there any possibility that the candidate may be shifted or changed or replaced? Say, Michelle Obama, the former US President Barack Obama's wife, may be nominated in lieu of Joe Biden. Is it possible now, or someone else for Republican?
Well, there are a lot of speculations. I have read about this in media also, and I have seen TV programs also. But changing horse midway is a difficult proposition, and it may not yield dividends in the electoral race. Yes, but Michelle Obama is also a very strong contender, and her party, I mean the Democratic Party, may be interested in putting her up as candidate, because Biden is quite aged, and he has not been keeping very good health, sound health. And the US President has to be very sound in his mental and physical health. So, Democratic Party may be thinking in this line, but what will happen ultimately still remains to be seen. Sitting here, we cannot make a prognosis of this issue.
What may be the impact on that's Israel-Gaza war, rather? Because Joe Biden, initially he tried to aid Israel quite greatly, but later on he stepped back, and with a view to convince the Muslim voters, he again moved backward. Now, on the eve of the election, do you believe there may be a great change if Biden is ousted from US?
Till the election, there will be no major change in US policy towards Israel. In fact, neither Biden nor Trump nor any of their predecessors could do anything. And even now, it is difficult because, to speak frankly, influence of the Jewish lobby in US is very high and very strong, firstly. Secondly, Israel is the only country friendly to the USA in the entire Middle East, really friendly to the US in the entire Middle East. So, US needs Israel as much as Israel needs USA. So, I don't foresee any major change, though Barack Obama during his tenure as president forced Israel to sign on an agreement that gave Iran quite a long leeway in the matter of its nuclear program. Israel did so very unwillingly, And this is not paying any dividend to the US also, because Iran has been pursuing a nuclear program for military use, not for any peaceful use. So that may be that may turn out to be ultimately self-defeating for the US. This forcible signing of the nuclear agreement involving Iran. So I don't foresee any major change in US policy towards Israel or towards Middle East. US will be backing Israel to a greater or lesser extent, and Israel will also remain friendly to the US because it has no other country to look forward to as far as aid, both civil and military, and on other measures is required. So it will remain almost the same with minor changes here and there.
How do you see Jaishankar's strategy? Will there be major changes or twists either way with Biden or Trump?
No, actually, Trump was as much friendly with India as Biden is now. And if Trump wins again, it will have a positive impact, I think, as far as relation with India is concerned. Trump has been quite forthright and explicit on this, because US multinationals who ultimately influence politics there very much need Indian market, the big Indian market. So any major change is unlikely, and moreover recently the US has published a report wherein the question of religious freedom in India has been put under a cloud. In fact, this report is not true. It is not true. It is not based on fact. Religious freedom in India is as broad as it can be in any liberal or democratic country. So this may have served our relations also very temporarily. But if Biden comes, I don't foresee any major change. But India will remain as much friendly with USA as it is now, or as it was during Trump's first tenure.
The death of one black person on the eve of US election, which jolted the entire US, including the CNN office, and there was a major movement in US. How do you see this matter?
It's difficult to say, but I believe a section of black people will definitely support Trump, but majority of them may support the Democratic Party, Biden or whoever it is in the fray. Yes, there are certain racial issues in USA, and Republican Party is not known to be very friendly to the black people, but still there are sections in the black population who support Democratic Party, Republican Party. It may be less compared with what we see for the Democratic Party, but still Republicans also have a base. So, and there is no reason to believe that the entire black population will support only the Democratic Party lock, stock and barrel. Republicans will also gain votes. Maybe it will be lesser than what Democratic Party receives.